Hey everyone, it's Thirsty Thursday, as you know it, back on it, a Thursday night. And here I am with our special co-host, the man, the myth, the maverick, Selly.
Yeah, no, definitely feeling like more so the myth a little recently, just for busy with work and school. But when Tim had talked about you needing a co-host, and it just timed out really well. So yeah, definitely glad to be on, especially with you, and then particularly for what we're doing with the show today. Very excited for it.
Very exciting, and I completely agree with you. Why is school messing up our lives and interfering with our Hammers games? So, tonight we have a special show. We're actually going to be bringing in two of the opposing team's followers. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I think it's going to be pretty fun. I think we're going to have a lot of banter going on. And Wally, of course, wants to see the show in French. Lee was unavailable to attend, so sorry, Spanish only here. New Hampshire Hammer says boo. Hey, we're doing our best. We're doing our best. Tim is excited here in the room tonight. All hail, Tim. All right. So without further ado, I am going to introduce the Mall and George from the Lions. Hey guys, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good. How's everyone going? Thanks for having us today.
Good. I think Selly and we were talking a little bit before this, and we're sweating a little bit for this upcoming game. So it's going to be a tough one.
I mean, when you have the best defense, like your team is, and the best offense, something's going to clash and something's going to give. So it's going to be a tit for tat, and I'm looking forward to it already.
Yeah. I think the stats are really lining up head to head. You guys are about 10th on your table, and we're sitting at 8th here right now. Selly, give me some stats. I know you have them all lined up right now.
Yeah, no, I was just kind of looking forward to just getting a little bit better picture. Lyon in terms of League One, sitting in 10th. They've played one less game than West Ham in terms of league play at 29. They have 11 wins, 10 draws, and 8 losses with a +3 goal difference, and sitting on 42 points, which is 6 points behind Europa Conference League and 8 points behind qualifying for Europa League next year. And then obviously, with the West Ham, we're sitting in 7th, 48 points, and right in the thick of everything essentially for our league. So it's really interesting. We've scored what is that? We've scored actually one less goal and have given up 2 more goals than Lyon in terms of league play. So yeah, this game matches up frighteningly too well.
Very close. And I was gonna say, Thamal, go right ahead.
I was gonna say, how many cup competitions have you been kicked out of? Because I think we've got you beat on that one.
Yeah, most teams do. We
And how many stadiums have been banned? Some empty stadiums for throwing a water bottle. Not much.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're talking about the Betway Cup, man, we haven't really had too much success qualifying and staying in cups. I think our last one was, if I'm not mistaken, 2012, 2013. I'll take that back. That's more recent than that. I think 2016, 2017, we got knocked out in the Europa League group stage, or qualifiers for it, actually. So it wasn't fun. Some of the more famous West Ham reactions you'll find on YouTube are specifically from that game. But I think my first question I have for you two, and Thamal, I'll throw it to you first, and I apologize if I say your guys' names wrong.
No, you got it.
None taken.
When the draw came through and you saw that you had West Ham, what were your first reactions?
My general impressions, if we draw English teams, going to be tough. We've frequented European competitions a lot, so the first thing that came to mind was when we played Tottenham in the Europa League, and those were great games to watch. I'll never forget Umtiti's goal, but it's always going to be tough. The quality in the EPL is just so high. West Ham and David Moyes he's got them playing so well. Even if they've gone down the table a little bit recently, it's it's definitely worrying. I mean, it's not the opposition we get week in, week out, and we're in 10th, so it's gonna be tough.
For me, I think it's just every time we're always with an English team, it's always the Farmers League mentality that they like to put in. We kind of get that a lot, but that's okay. Personally, I have nothing against West Ham. This is our first time we've ever played against you in Europe, so it's no really rivalry in here. I'll be honest, I really wanted Sporting Braga, but so does everyone else. Let's face it. Basically, I was like, okay, let's go for it. If we have to win the Europa League, we have to beat the good teams. And West Ham, let's face it, is a very good team. They are third, I believe, in the betting odds to win the entire Europa League. So you have to beat the best to get through it. And unfortunately, both of our teams got the short end of the stick because whoever progresses has to pretty much play Barcelona in the semifinals.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And Wally mentions, we think that you're really focusing on the Europa League versus your current league. Do you feel that is the case, that you are focusing on Europa versus La Liga?
It's hard to say, but I feel like in this case, let me backtrack a little bit because things might change now because we also just signed a player for that crazy special window for Ukraine. We just signed a right winger, Tete, which you guys were rumored to be a part of that race. He is I think according to what the reports were, he is eligible to play in the quarterfinals through a technicality, I believe, because he played in Europe. I don't know. Don't shoot the messenger. But he is a winger. That's something that we really, really, really needed. And there was a lot of people going for a signature, and we somehow got him. Anyways, he could be a game changer. But at the moment, currently right now, I think the more focus has to be Europa League because 8 points to get Champions League is not going to be easy for us, knowing we're so high and low. And fighting, basically, if we're trying to get Champions League, the only route is going to have to be Europa League at this point in time. So I think it is, but God only knows with that new signing we have with the different formation, moving Romain Felv to the left wing because he's more preferable there, and Carl Tokui Kambi up as the striker, which he's played for Cameroon, which he's done, who's now going to the World Cup, plays better in those positions. And with Lucas Paqueta in the middle, we finally can have an attack that's like threatening, so that instead of disjointed, you know what I mean? So I think we're going to be focusing a little bit on the cup. We'll see how it goes this Sunday when we play Angers. They're in free fall, so if we get 3 points a game, then we're definitely focusing on the Europa League.
Yeah, one thing that's funny, a little glimpse that you guys, like kind of what you were saying with the signing in this window, is a glimpse into West Ham and transfers. Is we are rumored to sign everybody, and it's not even a joke. It's kind of a common theme where whenever it gets to transfer windows, it's heavily interested FC is what we call ourselves. So yeah, rumored to sign everybody and we sign no one. So it's at least you know what to expect. So it's consistent in that way.
100% the reason why I do not participate in any rumor shows, because it's all just rumor. Yeah. We never sign anyone.
Yeah, so I had a couple questions on a couple of your guys' players. Okay. So I noticed looking into both League One and the Europa League in terms of offense for you guys, that you have two different leading scorers for both competitions. In League One, Dembele has 10 goals, and he's your leading scorer. I think he's 11th in the league. And then in Europa League, it's Toko Ekambi, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yep,
and he's
correct.
Second in scoring in Europa League on 6 goals. So can either one of you guys explain to us kind of what each of those players bring to the table in terms of attack?
I'll let them all go first.
Yeah, I was gonna say they are different players. Sometimes we do play them together. I kind of like what George was saying earlier about Toko Ekambi playing as a striker. He can play on the wing, but now that we have Fiverr and we have Tete, I think there's a lot of opportunities for him to bang in the goals. He's a really good finisher. Dembele, I mean, even in the previous rounds of the Europa League and in Ligue 1, he's come off the bench and just been electric. So I honestly wouldn't mind seeing him coming off the bench. But he's a great striker. obviously played for Celtic before. He went on loan to Atletico, didn't really do a whole lot, was hurt for a little bit, and came
But he
back.
won the La Liga title.
Did win La Liga, yeah. He's winning that one, yeah. So he's seasoned. He's been around. He's been in England as well. So it'll be good to see what kind of tactics Peter Bose plays. I don't know, George, do you have anything to add?
I feel like Carl Tuiku Ikambi can give like he has blistering speed. He is very good like in the counter, and he can really outrun defenders a lot. So that's where a lot of his goals have been coming from. Just been spectacular goals. Dembele, he's been hot and cold in my opinion. He's missed some golden opportunities, and other times he's been scoring some good bangers. So in terms of those two, I'll put an asterisk on Dembele because a lot of it was from penalties. So I don't know if you really count penalties part of that goal tally, unfortunately. Carl Tuiku Ikambi is his most goals in open play, and especially he's tying goal scorer for Europa League at the moment. So I would go for more KTE than Moussa Dembele, to be honest with you.
Okay, very nice. I definitely appreciate that insight. I guess kind of on the flip side of that, is there, and I know, George, you were saying that Dembele is kind of hot and cold and not, always consistent. Is there something that maybe West Ham can do to kind of get Ikambi like off of his pace, off his stride?
If you have pacey left back, pacey right back. Sorry, I had to think of there for a second. I'm like, he's on the left wing, the right wing. If you have a very pacey right back, you probably or you can just try to stop him by like pressing him or anything like that. That's probably your best shot. But that's probably because he's good with his speed, but he's also his targeting is not really that great. So if you can find a way to throw him off, that's probably your best bet in stopping him or pressing. One of the two. It's pretty much how he is.
And he's tall.
Go ahead, Katie.
He's a big dude. So, I just, I'm fearful of him putting one in the back of the net, for you guys pretty early.
I think that first leg has to be key. I think key for both teams, obviously, because let's face it, if you guys don't score a goal in your home leg, it's going to be very difficult because, let's face it, we have yet to lose a game away from home, and we have yet to lose away like at home. So it will be very tricky. So for us, we need to get Carl to be, he will be motivated for Europa League. So will Moussa Dembele. A lot of our players like to be more motivated for European games than it is for French League. Don't ask why. That was just one of his statements that he made during an international break one time. But they'll be motivated. If they're motivated, it's going to be very difficult to give us a press. And if they're in their form, who knows how it'll happen. So, or what?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry. I might have just heard myself in the echo. No, so for us, when you were talking about a speedy right back, we do definitely have one of those in a guy named Ryan Fredericks. However, I think a more reasonable thing, someone who starts, is probably Ben Johnson, who's a youngster, came up through the academy, relatively young. In terms of pace and matchup, I don't know. I haven't seen Ikambi play, so I'm not sure how pacey he is. I definitely take your word for it. So seeing if Johnson can keep up, it'll be something. And I know depending on what kind of style we play, because in our most recent game against Spurs, we played a 3 in the back and we were massively exposed. It was pretty terrible.
It was.
And it was interesting too that we played that poorly in that formation because we played with the 3 in the back early in the season and last year and had some of our better successes playing in that system. But the Kane to Son connection is very lethal, and it gets through anything. First of all, that I think that'll definitely be something interesting if Ikambi is to start, or even like you said, if they were to both play, especially on the away leg, why not for you guys. Another player I wanted to ask you about, because I know that I was talking about Lyon has given up 37 league goals, and I think in Europa League you've only given up like 6. If I'm giving us, but your keeper has very high save rates for both competitions. He has 18 saves in Europa, and he's second in League One with 92. I'm not sure what his first name is, but I know his last name is Lopez. Anthony, thank you. Anthony Lopez. Yeah, can you guys shed a little light on him?
All?
I think you should take this one, George. It's the Portuguese pride.
Anthony Lopes. There we go.
Yeah,
the Portuguese way of saying it. Anthony Lopes. I think he definitely got a fire under his, if I'm allowed to swear, a fire under his ass. I think because last season it wasn't his best season. I'll admit it. We were actually looking for an actual goalkeeper, and we were looking at Ajax's Onana. And I think he took offense to that, so he pretty much has been playing out of his mind this past season. He pretty much has saved our asses a lot, because 10th is very glorious because he saved us a lot of points. So we could have been a lot further down the table if it wasn't for him. And also, I might be getting ahead of myself, but he's also homegrown talent, along with our wonderful center back, Castillo Luqueba, who just started playing this year, is the next Umtiti. Good one, not the Barca version, during us and the France team. He's actually been amazing, and he feels more like the experienced veteran than some of our veteran center backs at the moment. So those two together have just been phenomenal, and the connection is just unreal, along with Jerome Boateng, but that's a whole nother issue.
I did not know your goalkeeper is 6 foot. By the way, I did check his stats on PKs, and he's 0 for 3. So like, we may have a chance there if we get into that PK head to head. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think the last time he won it was, I think it was Besiktas 17-18 season. I think so, and it was the quarterfinals. So in Besiktas in Istanbul. So. Yeah. I believe that's the case. That's the last time I remember him winning a penalty shootout.
That's a pretty massive place to win a shootout.
Yeah, had many.
So we jumped right into the thick of things, talking all about stats and players. We need to learn a little bit about you guys. How did you even become fans? We need to know. Like, here you are in the U.S., Rhode Island, and I think you said Boston. So give us a little bit of background on how you chose Lyon and why you're fans.
Well, I'll let Final go first.
Yeah, for me, it was pretty happenstance. Like, I started watching soccer and really through the Champions League in 04, 05, around that time. And that was right in the middle of Lyon's, period of dominance. We won seven Ligue 1 titles in a row. We were always in the Champions League, always in the knockout stages even. We're talking about a different competition now, unfortunately, but, one day we want to get back there. But yeah, that was around that time I was in high school, and, I'd come home from school and I would see the games used to be on ESPN, and I would see Lyon playing, and I would see, I just really liked their team. I love Juninho. He's actually my favorite player, and I think a reason why a lot of people became Lyon fans. So I just kind of started. I saw them on ESPN. There wasn't a lot of soccer on TV back then in general, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to try to follow this team." And I really like, Juninho's free kicks. So it just kind of went from there. I never learned French. I never did anything like that. But I tried to follow them, how I could.
So you can't speak French now.
I don't know any
funny story,
Spanish,
though.
actually. I know a few chants. I went to a couple games in Lyon. I went to the Stade Gerland once, so I learned a few chants for that. But I'm not a native French speaker at all.
You know what you're saying when you say
yeah.
I say what people tell me. I say what everyone else around me is saying.
Here's the funny thing, though. The Lyon fans really are flabbergasted, and they're like, we have foreign fans because they had and on top of that, they follow the French league. And a lot of them really don't speak French to us.
I think we're frozen.
Oh,
well,
that's
while he comes back, yeah. So when I went to the Stade Gerland, I went while I was studying abroad, and I went to the ultras section, the Virage Nord. And I ran into I heard some Americans in line who are also were studying abroad in Lyon. And so I instantly like talked to them, and they like showed me a lot of stuff. They were like, "Oh yeah, we come to these games." They were there for the semester, so I thought that was. It's just there aren't many American Lyon fans for sure. But George has actually done a really good job of heading like the OLUSA, the whole group. He's actually our president, and he's really grown it. We have a lot of chapters in different cities, including Boston. Boston's a little bit small, but we have big chapters in New York and Montreal and other places like that.
Oh, that's incredible.
That's pretty incredible. Yeah. I guess one thing too, just kind of from a fanboy perspective, is can you explain to us like what season and what jersey specifically you have on?
Oh yeah, so this one, oh man, I'm testing my knowledge here. This one is, I think, 2014. I got this. I used to coach youth soccer in Philadelphia, and they had, they have those tents.
That was 11-12 season, Thamal. That was 11-12 season.
All right. I got it in 13 or 14, but it was one of those places where, I couldn't tell you which season is which. I didn't buy this new. It's one of those stands where they just sell jerseys kind of bootleg from all over the place. So this is not an official jersey at all.
Bootleg in Philly.
Bootleg in Philly. But I was so happy because I just couldn't believe they had a Lyon jersey. It's always Barca and Real Madrid and English teams. And I was like, I couldn't believe, I was like, it cost me like $25. It's like much cheaper real jersey. So I was just happy to get one. Yeah, I think this is one of two jerseys that I have. So
I just need to respond to Timothy. I would totally go back for a post-match show for both legs. We did discuss that before.
So yeah, we were talking about that
in the same wavelength. I don't know what's going on. We know it's raining over here, so we do apologize if it's very disconnected. It's raining a lot, so that's why I apologize. But did you say favorite jersey, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just asking.
Hands down, absolutely the 3D kit. I actually have it. I can get it for you. It's literally in my closet. It's right there. I can show it to all. Basically, if you have 3D glasses, you can actually see like the OL pop out, and it's like no one has it.
I want that.
Bear with me 1 second. I can show it to y'all in there.
Tim, we need to upgrade our gear to 3D. You've really been slacking. And for everyone who doesn't have cool gear, this is my West Ham Philly shirt. As you can see, Philly represent. Get your merch at AHTV.
What a flawless transition into the merch.
Exactly. Tim
good merchandise, but here you go. Wait, can we see that there? There we go.
Wow, yeah.
So if you put the thing on, these things pop out along with the OL thing. So that, and we also had a glow-in-the-dark jersey where you have like the Adidas lines, and that there was like a line over here that glow in the dark. So those two are pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. They're very interesting. They were very different, and that's what I like about it. I don't like those like, I guess, cookie cutter ones that's like this kind of theme, but in different colors that every team has, and they claim it's their like specialty. The ones I showed you before and I described as pretty much the two best. So Thamal, I said 3D jersey and the glow in the dark.
We like the pioneers of really cool jerseys, like all the jersey technology. Like Lyon always can, especially like it'd be like midway through the season, like an important cup game or something, and they'd be like, "We have these 3D jerseys, we have these glow in the dark jerseys," like all these cool designs. Yeah, you got all the cool jerseys. I need to get some of those.
Yeah. So George, I was asking Thamal while you were away. The kit that you have on, can you explain that to us? Like what season and why you have that one?
It's from this season. I apologize. Okay. This is from this season. I actually liked all three of our kits this season because they were like straight up flames. So I got Max Kakare, which is again, unfortunately he got injured, but if he did not get injured, he was probably going to be one of the key men in that lineup. He is, I don't want to say N'Golo Kante like, but he's very N'Golo Kante like in terms of like hustling the ball, stopping the play down. Basically, he's N'Golo Kante, but like in like 18, 19-year-old. And I'm like, this is like amazing. But unfortunately, he did something to his leg, I believe, and he's out for 4 weeks, unfortunately. So, but advantage you guys.
Yeah, no, one thing, funny enough, kind of talking about Thamal's story of becoming a fan in the early 2000s. So I was kind of a late bloomer getting into being a fan of football. And I got really into it in 2007 when I was in high school. I started doing the newspaper, and my high school in Colorado was nationally ranked and all that. So becoming close to those guys, I started following the sport more. And FIFA 07 was one of the first sports games that I followed. And not really knowing any team outside of the MLS, one of the teams I would play against with my friends was actually Lyon. I don't specifically remember. I know I liked playing with them because I think they had a pink kit, if I'm not mistaken, and their striker was an absolute beast.
Sandro Lopez?
It might have been. It might have been him. That sounds right. I'm not going to judge you on or like say you're not correct. I don't remember
I think the pink jerseys are like a magenta like thing. Like
that was I think we played Real Madrid that year, right? I think that was the first year Benzema. We played against Benzema. If I'm not.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was the 07-08 season. Yeah, and they were just a lot of fun to play with. I mean, they were quick. They obviously were, and again, not knowing who any of these players were, play with them a lot. And I think another team I play with a lot, specifically because they had pink jerseys, was Valencia. And my fandom for West Ham came like 7 years later. But yeah, no, that's just kind of funny. Just my little previous backstory of how I even knew who Lyon were to begin with.
And I'll admit, Femal is before me. Mine was like during their first semifinal run in Champions League is when I first noticed them. Because obviously here in the States, they don't really have many matches for French league. Let's face it. Right. So I got to see them play against Bayern Munich, and I was like, oh, this is a really cool team. They're going tit for tat for Bayern Munich. Of all teams in the world, one of the top clubs is actually doing a pretty damn good job at times. So I researched them, and I felt like that was an instant connection, and been supporting them since beIN Sports took the rights for Liga here in the United States. So being able to follow and watch them, and luckily this year they actually have more emphasis on Liga, but that's aside the point. That's a whole nother episode with beIN Sports here. But we can actually see the games live on TV, and it feels great. So hopefully we can take advantage of it, but we'll see. And I've been to the Stade de Jalon in 2015, and I've been to the Parc OL in 2017. Now, hoping, if all goes well, I would like to do it this year, like maybe in Seville. Sorry, y'all. I would like to go and see them play a European final because we can't play in the Coupe de France because we got kicked out because PSG's Ultras decided to infiltrate our away section. That's a whole nother issue. That caused the stadium, Anyways, beside the point. I can't see them in a cup final in the Stade de France. I can't see them in Ligue 1 because, let's face it, they're not that great. So I would like to see them in a European final. So if we do, knock on wood, make it through, that would be a way to see them one last time. Not one last time, but another time.
Yeah. So Thamal, going back to your story of when you went to go visit, what was your overall impression of the fans, the city, the game day atmosphere?
Oh, I had such an it was one thing. I had such an amazing time. It was one thing to have been a Lyon fan for years, and I was in college at the time, and just excited to see my team. But when I went to the city, I actually went with a friend who was studying abroad in Lyon. I was studying abroad in Scotland, so I visited someone, and I just fell in love with the city. It's a beautiful city. I've been back since. I even took my brother there. We went and saw a Euro match there actually in 2016, kind of when the new stadium, the Parc OL, opened up. So I've been a couple times, and going to the Stade Gerland is you watch the games on TV. You see the fans, the ultras lighting the flares, and running down the terrace when they score, all of that stuff. Doing that in person and seeing that in person, it was an amazing experience. Are you okay? That's the same kind of ruckus in the ultras section.
Are you okay?
Yeah, are you okay? We'll find out.
Technical tip. Yeah, no, she had a background set up because she didn't want anybody. She didn't want anybody to see her kitchen, so she had a little background set up.
Come on.
So George, what about your experience there? How'd you feel?
2015. I'll admit I did not know any French. Since then, I've learned Babbel and Duolingo. Not promoting any brand here. Just want to put you all the heads up. So I went there just for the hell of it, because I was like, you know what, I actually did it when I was like a little buzzed on my birthday. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it. The last day of this game of the season, it's already set, so you know it's the set time. So that's the easiest way to plan it. So I planned it, and you feeling better?
Oh, we're good. My dog always knocks it over, but we're moving, so it's like you can kind of see the disaster zone in boxes.
Oh, stop! It's fine.
It's fine.
Basically, in 2015, I actually met up with a couple of fans. One of the fans actually wanted to use me for his school project, for his English project, about being a Lyon fan from the US, and I became very good friends with him. And in Stade de Lyon, they don't have a tailgate area, so they utilizes the restaurants and the bars nearby. And I remember them doing the flares and the flashes and all that kind of stuff. 2017, if I can remember it, because I got really hammered then, and it's not through me, it was all the other supporters were really excited that an American was there. So like they're like, oh, let me get you a drink. I'm like, oh, sure, that's free alcohol. I'll take it any day of the week. Let's go. So we got these. So I got really drunk, and not a bad way. Very composed, but it was very much a lot of fun. And it was just great. I understood what they were talking about because they told my friend, who's one of the supporters for one of the bad goals, pretty much told me what they were saying in English. So obviously, some of it not so nice language, but it is what it is. You have those kind of chants anywhere you go. But it was actually a lot of fun. It was actually Lacazette's last home game in a Lyon shirt before he moved to Arsenal. So it was like that big last hurrah, and he scored his 100th Lyon goal there. So I got to witness that. So
another player that West Ham were massively interested
in.
And
I believe in 2017, me and a couple people that we went as a little group, went to see their training practice. We were actually participating in their local channel, like their summary of their game, and they actually put us on TV for their channel, which went live to all the OL supporters. And we also had an interview with this magazine, which unfortunately is no longer there because of COVID, but Planète Lyon is basically a quarterly like magazine that gives you all the perspective of like the fans, the players, what's going on, the behind the scenes. And we got actually an article based on the overseas supporters and actually was a part of it and such. So it was interesting times for both times. And I absolutely loved it. Loved going to there. They have great food. If you're a history fan, they have a lot of Roman architecture still there, still intact. Oh, nice. And if you really like churches, the Fauvière, the Cathedral of the Fauvière is like prim prestige, and it's like marble and gold, and it's huge. It's amazing.
Overlooks the city. It's like
overlooks the city.
It's amazing.
And you can see the entire city, and you can see the new stadium from the hill. It's breathtaking. So,
yeah. So as any West Ham fan, I'll tell you, talking about new stadiums is kind of a soft spot for us.
Yeah.
And it seems like you guys moved into yours new one right around the same time we did. And you guys, you both had a chance to go to each stadium, correct?
I have.
Yeah, I have.
What would you say? Is there any like major differences from the old one to the new one? Is it a big improvement? Is there anything that you wish was kept?
Very much a big improvement. I remember in Stade de Lyon, like the bathrooms were utter shit. Just as an example, it just looked old and I don't want to say decrepit. I don't want to say it like that, but I don't want to be mean about it. But it was very old. But it just had a lot of history, of course. Obviously, Parc OL is the only stadium in France at this moment in time that is privately owned. All the other stadiums, you had to pay a certain portion to the city. That used to be the case for the Stade de Lyon. Now we have ourselves our own stadium. If we can do like a reference, unfortunately, I'm going to do my New England here, but the New England Patriots with their Gillette Stadium has hotels, restaurants, bars, movie theaters. Yeah. It's very similar to that. They have a hospital, they have a hotel, they have a surf shop, a surf place where it's like you can surf on the thing. Tennis, you can play. There's like a whole host of restaurants, and it's pretty much like its own little city within the thing. It's all privately owned. So,
sweet.
Once we get rid of those debts of the stadium, then you might be able to utilize it and get better talent to come to our club. So I prefer the new one than the old one, obviously, but It's a little out there. You have to take the tram, which is like a trolley system that they have there. To get there before the Stade de Jalon, it was in the Le Métro. They have a stop right there and was able to get off and be able to be a part of the stadium and atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. So also got to meet a couple of the players in 2015, but that's a whole nother issue. Actually, I got to meet Lacazette because sorry to be rambling. I apologize. It was 2015. I was going back to my hotel. All of a sudden, I turned to my left. It's his friend and someone like some seat all the way back. Like something's going on. So his friend was like putting him up, and all of a sudden, you see Lacazette's head come up. I look at him. He looks at me. I didn't want to make a scene because obviously there was a lot of people. I didn't want him to be like, I like to keep like if they're they're trying to be like secretive. I would do the same thing. I'm like, good luck, and it was like bon chance. And he's like, good, and he gives me the peace sign and just goes. So it was good. I got to meet Lacazette like outside of the thing, and I got to meet one of the other midfielders at the time with his family in the store. Didn't realize it was him and his family. So. Yeah, interesting tales from 2015 and 2017. It's always interesting. So I apologize for rambling. It just gives back good memories. So yeah.
Oh no, you're good. Damal, what about you? What do you think of the new stadium versus the old one?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I haven't been to the new stadium for a Lyon game. I went for the Euros, so I don't have a complete one-to-one comparison. But the one thing I will vouch for the old stadium is like that supporters section and that whole side of the stadium was just incredible. Like it was it was very old. Like that stadium was an old rugby stadium and an old soccer stadium. And it was just, stone terraces, there's no seats, everybody's standing on them the whole game. And there's a certain, like, I'm kind of one of those people that loves the ultra section standing the whole game. Like even at Gillette, they do the same thing, right behind the goal. And it's just like that atmosphere. I mean, the whole rest of the stadium feeds off of that section. I don't know, George, if that is quite replicated in the new stadium because it's a little bit separated. It's a little further. It's not on top of the pitch and everything. So
no, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
And also, they have a different avenue to get in from before. The other one, the current one that they're in now, they have it's similar approach, but they have their own specific one that they do. I unfortunately never went to a ultra side. Unfortunately, I would like to. But I need to know the chants by heart so that way I don't look like an imposter. So I can get a fresh up on my French then if that's the case and know what I'm talking about.
I knew how the chants sounded, so even if I didn't know all the words, I could just kind of yell at the
plus,
right
we're all
time.
drunk anyways, so they probably won't even know what the hell we're talking about, so it's perfectly fine.
Sally, at least we know what we're saying when we
Yeah, just loud noises and beer. That's all you need. We had a comment in here earlier to ask you guys if you had pie and mash in Lyon. But I guess my question for that actually would be like, so what would be like, take us into like a traditional pregame like pub situation? Like, what are you eating? What kind of beer are you drinking? If you are drinking beer.
Well, I remember I get steak and fleets at the Scottish bar. I think it's the Wallace Bar. Not even anywhere close to the stadium, but it's on the Vieux Lyon, which is like the older part of the stadium. City. There we go. And it's delicious. And then the best salad is Salade Lyonnais, which but I believe it has it's regular salad, ham, boiled egg, and I forgot what the other thing is, and they put it together with like this vinaigrette that they have. It's actually really good. In terms of beer, I'm okay with it. I do Sam Adams. That's a special that they had. So I was like, I'm going to pick that one because I don't know French beer. I've never tried. I tried a French beer before. It's not the same. Let's face it. If it's French wine, different story, or French champagne, because they're more well known for champagne and wine. There we go. So I do normally a Sam Adams, whatever the special they had at Wallace Bar at the time. So.
Wow. I mean, It's incredible. I couldn't imagine like just going there and seeing everything and, everything you say, it just sounds so proper. Like, I don't even know.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's fun listening to you guys talk about kind of the old stadium versus the new stadium, because I think there's a lot of similarities between the old Boleyn and the Olympic Stadium for us. The old Boleyn was right in the middle of the community. All the shops around there, mom and pop shops, kind of like, I don't know, maybe not even a pitch's distance away from the station, or from the stadium rather, was a pub called the Boleyn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, where you had a bunch of fans meet up, and then you had, I'm going to lose my fan card for not remembering the name, but you had, there's a very historic picture of England with Bobby Moore being held up when they won the World Cup, and there's a statue of that, right, not too far away from the ground. So you're just in walking distance of that. But I mean, the thing that was crazy is, like, first time I saw West Ham play was a Saturday at the 3 p.m. kickoff. And me and my buddy Gary went to a game, and we got down to East London around like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. Went and got a proper English breakfast, beans, toast, potatoes, tomatoes, blood pudding, all that good stuff.
It's my favorite.
Got filled up. And then we honestly immediately went from there. We kind of walked around, went to the team shop inside the ground, because that was the only part that was open. Still wasn't too many fans out just yet, but you could tell people were starting to make ways. There was a chicken stand that was opening up for the day. There was a lot of people giving out programs and stuff like that. And then we finally made our way to the pub. And man, it was like, you were elbow, shoulder to shoulder with everybody, and then once you left the pub, once it's about, 3 hours and less to the game, like the street is shut down. Fans are all over the place walking, it was a beautiful time. It was a great experience. And the new ground, similarly to kind of what you were saying, you need to take a tram to, like our ground is what the opening game or the opening ceremony was in the track events for the 2012 London Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the stadium that we play in now. There was a lot that goes into it, in the sense of, at the time that we moved, it was, the right choice. We just qualified for Europa League. We had, a top 10 finisher in Ballon d'Or with, a gentleman I'm sure you guys are very familiar with, in Dimitri Payet.
Little alien head outfit,
Yeah, I mean, since then it's come along. It's about double in size. There's no like traditional stands, if you will, with it being a bowl. But yeah, it's right next to kind of what Olympic Village was. There's a huge mall next to it. There's not the same atmosphere in terms of the pregame walk around. With the shops, the pie and mash, there's an eel shop. I think it might have even been the same place, if I'm not mistaken. But it doesn't have that community feel. But when you see the games and the atmosphere is electric, to have 60,000, West Ham fans, in full throat supporting the team, like, it's like, I'll watch it from the States and get goosebumps. So it's pretty special. And having been to both, obviously for the old stadium, there's that nostalgia there. There's not really going to be anything that tops that. But then at the same time, when you hear 60,000 people screaming bubbles, after a win or whatever the case, it's pretty special. So it's kind of interesting with the two clubs, how there's that similar connection there.
I'll admit, both games that I've had, it's been pretty late. Like, it's not 3 o'clock like you guys have it. It's usually like 9 p.m. and it's from 9 to 11. And then I usually go to the last home game of the season. So every last home game that I went to, they always did like obviously what they usually do for West Ham too, like a not a victory lap, but like a lap of honor. And then we do fireworks afterwards. So we don't get out of the place until like midnight. So the good thing about those kind of games is you have the entire day to like sightsee in the morning, do what you need to do, and then get prepared, and get a little wasted, and you get sober up. And by the time you go to the tram, you're like, you're good. You just want to go to bed. So usually that's how it was for me. It was both games were all at the same time. It was like a multiplex, so all at the same time at 9 o'clock at night. And basically, it's always a good time because it's always still sunny there because they go to, like, the sunset's late there. But it's always a good time to do it at 9 o'clock. I don't know how it is for 3 o'clock because I've only done it here in the Gillette Stadium before, but whenever I was in Ligue 1, it was always 9 p.m. It was always amazing because you always get to like prepare and mentally prepare and then drink, and you get to go and chat with all the other fans and who just wants to speak English to you. So
Yeah, no, it's funny. Both times I've been to games have been 3 p.m. kickoffs, and one we won and one we lost. And it's funny because like when you lose a 3 p.m. kickoff, you're just pissed for the rest of the day.
Yep.
But obviously when you win a 3 p.m. kickoff, you're like in such a great mood. And it's kind of even, as you guys know, the games here kick off even earlier. I think our next league game kicks off at like 7:00 in the morning on Sunday here. So, if that's a game that we lose, I'm gonna just be in a bad mood all day. But if we win, then it starts the day off right.
I think ours is on 11 on Sunday. Let me just double check for you.
It's
Wow.
Yeah, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we're just right on the same avenue. There's early.
Sally's an hour. You're an hour, 2 hours behind me, right?
Yeah, 2 hours behind on Mountain Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for us, there's at least a game that's 6 a.m. Sundays.
Oh yeah.
Those 6 or 7 a.m. Excuse me. So I feel your pain because if we've never won those. I'll admit the times I went to Lyon, both times they drew. So
okay.
I guess I'm neutral. I don't know what the point is. It's always been a neutral, like 2-2 or like 1-1. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, the game I went to, it was a draw, but didn't sour our celebrations. I finally found out from a couple Philly folks here, the bar we ended up after. They just heard that we were American fans and just fed us shots. Like, I couldn't even tell you. Sally, I'll have to give you the name of the bar because I'm sure you've been. I mean, apparently.
Is it Fido's?
The what?
Is it Fido's?
No. It's over in London.
In London.
The old something. Someone
I'm not sure what the name is. The second time I went to see West Ham play at the new ground, we ended up getting there late. So this was 2000, I want to say 19. We went to go see West Ham play Huddersfield, and we got into the ground right as Huddersfield drew the game 1-1 because we were walking up and we could hear from the outside that somebody had scored, but we didn't know what it was. It ended up being a Mark Noble converted penalty. And then as we were walking into the stadium, and we almost didn't even get in, like we were walking in as they were closing the gates off. As we were going up to our seats, Huddersfield scored. Long story short, Huddersfield gets up 3-1 in the game, and then we end up coming back and winning that game 4-3.
Oh, wow.
Which, it was an insane game to be at, and it was wild. Especially, the game was a lot closer than it needed to be because Huddersfield was the worst team in the Prem that year. Immediately went back down, that next season. But so I didn't have a chance to go to any pub beforehand because from the moment we woke up, our plans for transportation like drastically fell through.
Oh, no.
So we ended up getting there, late. But overall, I'm glad I was able to see the game, because me and Gary, we flew to England to watch this game. So I'm glad that we were able to get in there. But there's one more player I have for you guys that I wanted to ask about because I noticed something very interesting. And Thamal, I'll ask you first. So I was looking up successful tackles and defensive players. And I noticed that the highest rated player for successful tackles, balls recovered, and fouls that ranked the highest for Lyon was a guy named Cacaret.
Maxence Cacaret.
Cacaret, yes. Yeah. So I was just curious to ask you, like, what position does he play and what kind of player is he?
Yeah, so that was actually who George was talking about earlier, who just got hurt, but he's a center mid. He's our Conte. I think I never thought about it that way until you mentioned that, but that's actually a decent comparison because he will go box to box, win the ball, and then kind of go out and just distribute it. He doesn't have to do anything fancy, but he can go up and play the passes and feed Paqueta and feed our other players. But yeah, it's a shame that he's not going to be there because he's a ball winner and he's just high energy. He's young. He really is like our Conte. And yeah, that's going to be a tough one to replace.
Is he going to be out for both legs or just the first one?
He's 4 weeks, so they said 4 weeks, so it's going to be out for the quarterfinals, unfortunately.
That happened, 2 days ago?
Yeah, I think he came back from his under 21, I believe,
Oh,
In his
okay.
first training session, something happened, and that's when he got
Jeez.
the injury. But can I respond to the New Hampshire Hammer? He said, "Where do Lyon games show in US?"
Oh,
beIN
yeah.
Fubo
Sports
TV.
USA.
Yeah.
If you have Cox Communications, it's on beIN Sports. I'm not sure if you guys have Fubo or Gold TV or whatever it is, the streaming service. It's on beIN Sports. More than likely, you'll see it on beIN Sports rather than beIN Sports Extra or like beIN Sports, like their other channels that they stream. Just because Marseille, PSG, Lyon, the big three, along with Lille, the former current Ligue 1 champions, usually get most of the game time here in the U.S. So beIN Sports would be the place to see Lyon. They do play against Angers at 11:05. They do 11:05. Don't ask me why. But I think it's because they had the multiplex at 9 o'clock, so they try to give it extra time to like transition to the next game to watch. I think it's at home against Angers. So if you guys want some opposition research, they New Hampshire Hammer. It's 11 a.m. against Angers. You can watch it on beIN Sports if you have it on your local providers.
Yeah, no, Fubo. When I was deployed, I would use Fubo a lot because they showed Germany, Spain, and French, all top divisions on there because they have a deal with beIN as well as I think Fox Sports for football. So you kind of got all the top leagues. But just for the West Ham fans, when I was talking about how do you pronounce his name again?
Maxence Caqueret.
Caqueret, yes. So to compare him to Declan Rice, they both have the same amount of successful tackles with 9. And Caqueret has more balls recovered. He has 45, and Declan Rice has 34. So I can definitely see what you guys mean in terms of like the production that will be missed, which I guess for us is a good thing. But yeah, and it was interesting too because I saw that he led the team with 13 fouls. So I just kind of reading off those numbers when I was looking up, doing some research on the team. Definitely kind of just from a number standpoint, looks and sounds like somebody who gets really stuck in, high motor, kind of all over the pitch player. So be a shame to not be able to see him play. I think it's always fun to watch.
You can always look up YouTube videos. You'll probably find a lot of YouTube videos or on Twitter just how he plays. And it's just, a lot of teams, he's coming up not near the end of his contract this year, but next year. So if he doesn't extend, be prepared that there's going to be a lot of teams going in for him because he's one of those underrated ones that not many people know about. So the difference is Declan Rice is worth 100 million pounds for some reason, and Maxence Caqueret will probably get 30-40 million because that's just how our president sells our players. He undervalues them. But
I think he is worth close to that. Do you guys think he's going to stay? Is he gone this year, this summer?
It's interesting because I think if we do well, like let's say we reach the Europa League final, whether we win it or not, I think it definitely helps the case. But I think on the flip side of that, it's also one of those things to where if he leaves, there's only like really one team that people wouldn't want him to go to, and that's Manchester United. But other than that, I think no one's going to be mad at him for leaving. Definitely understand he's, English international. There was buzz around him wearing the captain's armband for England this past international window. He's our captain. The dude's only 24, I think.
He's in his prime.
He's just walking into his prime, and you think about how long footballers can play. I mean, Sergio Ramos is like 95 years old, and that dude's still playing,
And yet he still has a contract with PSG. And he had one game or two games, and most of the time he's been injured.
Yeah.
I know if you've seen her happy birthday thing of Sergio Ramos, most of it is from his training sessions. That's how many times he's been playing, and he makes a boatload of money for doing nothing.
All right, she's 23. So yeah, there
Thanks,
you go.
Wally. Yeah, we know he's a young buck there. I don't see him leaving. Honestly, I mean, it is going to depend on what happens, but I think that depending on who we get in, might entice him to stay and continue. And exactly what you said, Sally, I think he is going to be wearing that armband for England shortly here.
You think Europe is going to be a deal factor for him if West Ham don't make a European spot?
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah. I mean, this player, he's too good to not be playing in Europe. to be honest. And, as much as I would love for him to stay at West Ham, I understand the role that West Ham have currently in the sense of we don't have the clout or the owners or stuff like that to be able to keep players because we can't always entice the biggest names. And then even, if we do start to entice players, we kind of fumble the bag in the sense of like Sebastian Haller, for example. He club record signing at 45 million pounds, stays here for a year and a half. We sell him to Ajax for like 20 something. And now, granted, he's a very controversial player when you talk about him with West Ham fans because some are like, oh, we should have just played the style that he's used to. Others like he should have been able to fit in ours, whatever. But it's funny seeing him like tear it up in Champions League because his first ever Champions League game he played with Ajax, he scored 4 goals. So it's just one of those things. It is what it is.
But also Ajax has a league where it's pretty much no defense, all attack.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to take that with an asterisk there.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I don't remember who the Champions League game was that he scored those 4 goals on.
I think it's Besiktas.
Probably, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things that we're not there yet. Plus, I mean, if you took the players that used to play for West Ham and made a starting 11, you'd have a baller of a team. So
we can say the same thing for sure.
Yeah. So, it is one of those things. I understand our role in this. If he stays, superb. But I think at the same time, we're going to have to pay him like we pay people who don't play and make a lot more, So we'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath, but it'll be great if he stays.
All right. So let's go into match predictions. I'll have everyone go around and say what they think.
Are we talking first leg or both legs?
First leg. Because we're going to have you back for that second one.
First and second. Come on now. All right. So, match prediction of first leg. I would say it's a 1-0 scrape for us. And I think that's key. I think it's key. I think it's going to be a scrape. I don't think it's going to be like a domination. It's not going to be like 3 or 4-0 or anything like that, or like a 4-2. That would be great. 4-2 would be cool. That would be goals galore. But it's going to be a scrappy 1-0. I think where it's going to be like, who's going to blink first? And for some reason, I just think we're going to sec it. And I think Paqueta is going to do it again. So I'm going to say yes, unfortunately.
Is it a dirty goal or is it a pretty goal?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I was just thinking, like, doesn't matter. It's gonna be 1-0.
I would say if they're gonna score, it's gonna be a dirty goal. It's not. I think that we're gonna put up a tough fight. I think, I think we'll be able to pull it through. Being at home, I'm fearful for the second match being away. But Sally, what are you thinking for this match?
I think the atmosphere is going to be insane. It's going to be Sevilla 2.0. I think you're going to see a strong French representation in their stand. Excuse me.
Yeah, because I believe the Lyonnais, the Lyon fans from London, are going to be making that trip to West London to see them.
Oh yeah,
so
I'm
sure.
It's with it just being a 2-hour drive or ferry, trip away. It's not far. King's Cross is like not too far away from London Stadium. But irregardless of that, I think I don't know. It's hard because I know for both of us, like a majority of our teams are kind of rested from this break. Obviously, the star players, with their international contributions. We both have a game on Sunday. Right. I think we have the advantage of not traveling. So I would say I do think that you guys get the away goal. But I don't know. I'm seeing like a 1-1, a 2-2 kind of game. I don't know. I don't know why draw just kind of sits in my head. But I think it'll be very much a back-and-forth game because I think Lyon play the style of football that West Ham love to play counter against. But I think for us getting goals, and I don't know if Jared Bowen is coming back from injury or not, but I think this is a game where Mikel Antonio can thrive, in terms of like his speed, his power, and all that. But he has to take smart shots, and that's just the team in general. So I think it's very pacey, 1-1, 2-2 type thing, maybe 2-1 on the off chance. But I think we're going to be in for a race.
The Mall.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I'm going to go 1-1. I think we can scrap an away goal and then, take it back home equal.
Keep in mind, there's no away goal rule, so don't say it like that. So.
Well, it still counts as, when we're on the road, it counts as an away goal to me. It doesn't count for the tiebreaker, but scoring on the road is a big deal regardless.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to call it an away goal. But yeah, I think we can go in even in the second leg, and I'd be pretty happy with that result. I think that would
do fourth.
That'd be good.
1-0, maybe 1-1 at second leg. Who knows? And we'll keep that. We haven't lost in Europa League this season. I'll put it that way. So it's going to be very. That's a huge thing at stake,
No, you haven't come up against West Ham either.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like it's like that.
I was going to say, coming into this game, if you're a Lyon supporter or even a player, you're essentially playing with house money, because absolutely. I know that like West Ham are the bettors' favorites to win this particular leg. But at the same time, like you were saying earlier, George, for people that don't know, it's the highest scoring Europa League offense versus the least goals conceded Europa League defense, in West Ham. So, I mean, someone's got to give, and I think both teams will be very much up for it. I wouldn't be surprised if, like even on Sunday, they probably have a couple players rested just to make sure that this game is going to be up for it, I know we're both kind of in the thick of it in terms of our respective leagues. But, this game on Thursday is going to be absolutely insane.
I can see that with us, with Paqueta, because he just played with Brazil. I think because we have Jeffrey and Adeline back from his ACL injury, I think he can easily slot in there. And obviously with Maxence Kakade, we can give Aouar some minutes, get his body rested up and such. So, and we can get Tino Kadewere or anything in some fashion. So, there'll probably be some resting from both teams. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I think that'll definitely be the smart move. Katie, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm going with a tie this first game. I think that it is going to be a 1-1 game. It's going to be tough and gritty. I don't know. I don't know who's going to score for us. I'm hoping it's Antonio. I hope he just plows right on through. Their goalkeeper, like we said before, is tough. So
and Lukeba can definitely pick up the pieces if Thiago Mendes is going to be our center back to get Antonio. So it's going to be very tricky. You're going to have to figure that how to get Lukeba and Thiago Mendes probably as our center back pairing. So
yeah, so definitely looking forward to it. I think we'll definitely be scouting you out on Sunday here and getting prepared for Thursday.
I'm just excited. We never played you guys, so this is like it's just great to know that it's like we're not like we haven't played you guys a lot, like or anything like that. It's like fresh, so it's like it's amazing to like now.
Oh yeah, and I know there's going to be that added incentive in terms of like the
Farmers League,
the fan base. No, not that. Just the fan bases in terms of obviously English and French don't really get along. So I think just that in its own right is just going to just make the atmosphere even crazier, so I can only imagine what being in that game is going to be like, and obviously I know we all wish we could be there, but like for me it sucks. I have class as that game.
I was going to say school or West Ham. I mean, come on.
So I mean, I may or may not be on the phone watching it, trying to take notes in class, but
I can work from home those days, so I will totally go work from home and watch it on the side while I'm working. I'll be fine with that.
I'm gonna block off a little space, 2-hour block on my calendar. Say meeting, put a meeting for myself and the game.
Excellent. Priorities. Well, we'll definitely have you both back on post match so we can get a little deeper into this rivalry we got going here. I'm sure it's going to get a little bit tougher and not as friendly come next week. So looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Depends on the result. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Could be a 0-0 and then be like, where was the pillow? Where's my nap? Who knows?
Yeah, very true. Very true. I just don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be
I don't think so either. There's going to be some goals. I sent some goals.
All right. Well, Thamal, George, it was great to have you on. You're absolutely more than welcome back. As we said, you guys been awesome. And the chat, everyone, it was great to see you all in there tonight. Sally, any closing thoughts for the group here?
Yeah, no, it was an absolute pleasure. You guys, it's very easy to tell that you guys are, true fans through and through. Not that I was particularly worried about that. Tim is very good at getting.
I was very worried that the comments might get a little aggressive, but you guys have been actually very nice. So thank you all in the chat. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for allowing us to be on your podcast today. So thank you very much. And look forward to seeing you guys again Thursday. And hopefully it'll be a different atmosphere. Well, things can be a little bit different, but it's good to know that it was amazing to be on the podcast today. So thank you guys.
Yeah, they might not be so friendly next week.
Yeah, they might not be friendly.
Put that to the test for sure. But
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thanks and have a good night, everyone. Have a good morning to those just starting their day. And Sally, let's leave it with a come on, you Irons. Let's go.
Allez, Lyonnais. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys.